friends and everyone else who decides to watch this video. I've got an unboxing of more budget knives today. Now, my Canadian friends might be a little upset with me because I think a little over half of these knives are not for sale in stores in Canada. My American friends are going to be happy because almost everything here is available on Amazon, and I'll leave Amazon links down below, as well as White Mountain Knives. And for the knives that are at Blades Canada or House of Knives, I don't think House of Knives might have some of these, at least one of these, I think. I'll leave links for those as well. And the Amazon links will be referral links. And so, yeah, thank you so much if you choose to use them. We've got a knife from QSP. We've got two from Ganzo. We've got the Budget Bugout, finally, the Walmart Budget Bugout from United States. We've got an OLITANS. We've got Sencut. We've got Hyler. And all of these but one are all with D2 steel. And I don't prefer D2 steel in my pocket knives, and yet I bought all of these knives to show to you guys. So let's get started on the review from my tabletop just after I show you some pictures of my cookie decorating thing that we did as a family over the weekend. We had a great time. Now let's get on to the knives. Okay, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got 6, I believe 7 knives for you today. And the first one I want to show you is the most different of the rest. All the rest have D2 steel, but this first one by a new knife company or newer knife company called Hyler. And I apologize for the destroyed box. That got destroyed somehow through shipping. But what's inside the box is just fine. There is their thank you card that comes in it. Hyler's a newer knife company. It's a South Korean company, although this knife is made in China, just like everything else you're going to see here today. So it's Hyler. We've got that embroidered on here. That's not printed on there. That's embroidered. Hopefully you can see that. So that's pretty nice. Other than that, we've got a nice zippered pouch. Let's open that up. Now, Hyler ships it with a bunch of stuff. You can find this on Amazon.com. What is it? Just under 35 US dollars, $34.89 right now. And you've got a spare pocket clip right here. And I'll show you the other pocket clip so you don't need to see that. We've got a black microfiber cloth, just a plain microfiber cloth. We've got a T6 driver. We've got the knife. And they've also got a little sharpening kit on there as well. Now, they sent this to me and asked me to review it, and I told them I'd give them an honest review. I think this is a complete waste of money. I would never pull a knife through there unless, you know, circumstances were extremely tough. I don't think that looks like carbide. That looks just like steel, so that might not be too bad. But the ceramic V here, that's just fine for honing an edge a little bit. But if my edge got that bad that it was really destroyed, you know, I'd rather sharpen this on a rock. I'll find a nice rock and do, you know, the hand sharpening and get an edge put on there. These V pull-through things tend to just destroy steel. It just rips the edges apart, as long as this is harder than the steel is. And otherwise, you know, it's less useful. Ceramic, of course, is harder. So this part, yeah, I can do without. And if I don't sell this knife on, I sell most of what I review so that I can buy more stuff to review. But if I keep this, I would toss this and it would be gone. Now the T6 driver, let me see how that feels. That's a pretty good fit. It doesn't seem like a terrible driver, at least for these screws. It fits in quite well. And I will do a full review of this. I'll take them all the way apart and show you. Let me try this. Yeah, it's got about the same amount of play as my Wera screwdriver here does. So yeah. Decent screwdriver, you know, it's got the free spinning thing up here. I don't know how hard the steel is, but hey, that's not bad. And you got a pocket clip as well. So let's take a look at this. We've got thumb studs for deployment. And we've got a flipper. That's a pretty chunky flipper. It's not super big. I've seen a lot of knives that have a chunkier flipper tab than that. There's no jimping on it, but let's see what blade we got. Oh, that's a decent drop point blade. Fairly straight back, and then a drop point with a little bit of a swedge, a high grind on there, 14C28N. Oh, and look at that. This I really like. Their badging is not up here on the main bevel. It's here on the flat section close to the pivot, and it's not very big. So extra bonus points for them for that. And on this side, 14C28N. Decent sized sharpener's choil there. Some jimping up here. Feels okay. Oh, the button lock's not bad. Now, I did have all the knives sent to me. I don't remember if I said so in the introduction. Knives that are sent from Asia or just about most countries, if they are flippers and or locking folders, I get them sent to Dave in Nebraska, and he takes them apart and sends me the handles and the blades separately. The handles got stopped for inspection by CBSA, and everything took a while, but I've got them all now, and this is the unboxing to show them off. That's not that bad, and that means I put it back together. So I don't know if maybe I tightened this pivot screw a little bit too much. Oh, that's my T6. Let's try the T8 here. No, that wasn't too tight. We'll see. I'll do a full teardown, and yeah, action's not bad. And a lockup is right down the middle. The G10's got actually it's a slightly unique texture on it, but running my nail across it, I think that's G10. I think that's very likely. I think that's what they said that it is. Lanyard hole back here. We've got a spacer, a filler spacer for the pocket clip on the other side. And the pocket clip, well, we'll see. It might not have enough lift for me to be happy right there, putting it in and out of a pocket. Well, hey, I'll do this since I owe them a review, and it took a long time to get this here. Actually, yeah, that doesn't seem bad. That might be just enough lift right there for it to go in no problem. And of course, I'll do a full set of tests just like I do everything. Before I review a knife, I carry it for a while, a good while, and I test it and I do all kinds of cutting with it and things. And yeah, it's a decent, the button lock's not sticking. Yeah, quite nice indeed. Like I said, OD green or this black with a black wash blade, and I've got an Amazon link for you down below. That's a USA Amazon link. If I find other stores that have this, maybe other Amazons, like maybe Germany's Amazon still has this, I can leave a link down for you guys too. So look for this on Amazon, whatever country you're in. I don't think Hyler's got their own website yet, and if they do, I'll leave a link for that as well. And if Canada ever gets these on the Canadian site, which they probably won't. Canada, Amazon's pretty picky about which knives they get in and carry. But hopefully other Canadian stores will get this. But I'm not going to hold my breath. But since most of my viewers are from other countries, 8 to 10% of my viewers are from Canada. I really wish it was more, but it's not bad. Now, I might have to, like I said, this is not the factory condition. I did have to put it back together. I might have to adjust it a little bit because it seems to be a little catchy when it's closing, but that could be my fault. I'll take a look at that, and when before I do the review, I'll see if I can do anything about that without having to modify anything, which, yeah, seriously doubt. I might just need to lubricate it. We'll see. Because it came apart when it was shipped, we could have lost some lubrication during the repacking and everything. So, yeah, the Hyler MAMBA. This model's called the Mamba. So, yeah, decent looking, decent feeling, decent size, and got got no reason to believe that it's anything but 14C28N. And the blade shape is very utilitarian, very EDC-able. Let's put that up in the corner. I won't fill up all the space. The next knife is one of the knives I've been waiting for a long time. And that's from QSP Knives. One of my favorite knife companies is QSP Knives. And we've got a couple stickers here. We've got 2 penguins, have a knife day, which they've been saying for a long time as their motto. But the penguin, I think, is newer. Put that to the side. And of course, as QSP does, they've got a sheet. Let's see if that'll focus. There you go, a little spec sheet. And you might see right there underneath Parrot V2 QS102 ball bearing. The penguin was one of my favorite, or is one of my favorite penguin. The Parrot. I like the QSP penguin as well. The QSP Parrot is one of my favorite low-cost knives that they made. And that's largely because of its size and blade shape. Sort of like a penknife shape, but a little bit bigger than a typical penknife. Full flat grind, drop point, well, sort of a spear point style of blade shape, and a decent thinness on the edge. D2 steel, which I would rather have 14C28N or even 9CR18 MOV or something like that. But D2's okay as well, especially where I live. D2's not a problem. Carbon steel in the pocket's not a problem, but I still prefer stainless steel. That said, I've had 3 or 4 of their Parrots. This is the first of the V2 that I've had, although the V2's been out for a while. This knife is available in Canada, so I'll leave links down below. Canadian price, where do I have this written down? Blades Canada, $55.99 for this version. This is the shredded carbon fiber with blue. It also comes in shredded with red. And then you can get it with G10. That's the lowest price, or Micarta, that's sort of the middling price. So this most expensive one's the only one that Blades Canada has in stock today. This is December 15th in the morning, and that's not a bad price for this knife. Amazon's got these $25.20 for the G10, all the way up to $35.99 USD for these carbon fiber. And so, of course, there's multiple prices because they have the Micarta, the G10, and this shredded carbon fiber. And I like it. That's kind of nice. Other stores that have this, well, I'll try to leave some links down below. White Mountain Knives has it. They're currently sold out on December 15th in the morning of all of them, but I'll leave a link for White Mountain Knives. And remember, if you go to White Mountain Knives, you can save 10% with code CCE. That's Canadian Cutting Edge. So, yeah. The difference between version 2 and version 1 is version 1 had, the basic washers in there, the phosphor bronze washers. Now version 2 has got ball bearings in here. So I will do a teardown. I'll do a side-by-side teardown with the version 1 and the version 2. I got a version 2 when they did a special run with S35VN, I believe. Am I remembering correctly? So anyways, it was a higher-end stainless steel. And so I've got a Micarta one with the higher end stainless steel, and now I've got this one here. So we'll see. I'll even see if I can put the handle scales back and forth if they've changed at all or not. But pocket clips, both sides, lanyard hole, decent knife, a nice small urban EDC carry that it's just a really good size for most people to use. If you're an outdoorsman, you're going to want something a little bigger probably. But, this could be a nice little backup size. All right. So another brand that I've never reviewed before is this one. I found this on Amazon.com. That's the American Amazon. OLITANS. O-L-I-T-A-N-S. OLITANS. And I don't know if that's an O and then an L and then a T. I don't know if what that logo is supposed to mean, but it's interesting. So the OLITANS, and we've got a microfiber cloth in the pouch with their printed on logo right there. I'll just leave it in the pouch for now. That's a card, I was wondering. And there, this side's in English. So there you go. They're on Instagram, OLITANS_knife on Instagram. By the way, I've gotten rid of all of my social media apps and everything. I just have grown totally sick and tired of all the nonsense that goes on social media, except for YouTube. YouTube, I guess, is technically social media. Yeah. So this is a smaller knife. If you want to contact me, comment on a YouTube video. I read them all. I reply to them all. If you put a link or something, or sometimes use what YouTube thinks is, hard swearing language or whatever, your comment will get put into purgatory for a while, and I have to manually go and check the unpublished links. So sometimes it takes a while for me to see those. Otherwise, I respond to your comments generally the same day, often within a few hours. I check them every morning, and then sometimes again later on in the day. And I reply to all of them, and unless they're nonsense, like cursing and stuff. Anyhow, this knife, let me check my sheet here. This is model G061, so it doesn't have a name, and it's $27.90 in the United States, and you can get it in this OD green or natural G10, and you can get a satin blade or a black coated blade. They don't say what the black coating is, and they say this is D2 steel. That edge feels fairly thin, not silly thin, but it feels fairly thin. High saber grind. Again, a drop point with a swedge, but not terribly long. I don't have my ruler down here. It's upstairs to see exactly how long that is, but that looks like it's probably just under 3 inches. And we've got flush screws back here. And let me grab my drivers and just to check them out a little bit. The T8, it's a decent fit. And the T6 is, I don't like T6 at the best of times, and especially when they use, I like flush screws. I don't like button screws. You've heard me say that many, many times. I don't like button screws that are sunk into G10. It's just like a lint trap over there. But the button screws tend to be better in terms of, the screwdriver can go in further. This screwdriver, these screws are so shallow, yeah, you're at high risk of stripping the screws, if you don't have this lined up just right and to loosen it. I will do a tear down on this. I think they got screw heads for the, that's probably T8 as well, which is nice. Yeah, thumb studs are T8s. So, yeah, we've got a lanyard hole. We've got a right side only pocket clip. Doesn't look like a bad pocket clip. Oh, that feels like a sturdy pocket clip. Flipper with a little bit of jimping up there. Just the tiniest bit of jimping. And yeah, I know my camera focusing rate is pretty slow, but it's just what I've got. Flipper works well. Smooth action. Decent lockup. Decent lockup on the lock bar. Good alignment, thumb studs, flipper, thumb studs. It's, a smaller knife. My hands are, extra large this way. And so, yeah, this is a smaller knife. My pinky's getting just a little bit of purchase back there. And we've got a G10 backspacer. Yeah, all in all, that's not bad. Out of the box, I'm not going to complain about this thing. This thing's fairly decent. If it's a size that you like, yeah, that doesn't seem bad. Did I say what price this was? $27.90 US. And yeah, comes 4 different ways. So there's that. Now we've got something else I've not done yet. I finally got, and he cut it out of the package for me. Dave did. He bought this at his local Walmart in Nebraska. This is the Budget Bugout by Ozark Trail, which is Walmart, United States. Bright orange color. We've got the black coated blade, D2 steel crossbar lock. So, yeah. Oop. That spring tension is pretty strong. It's like the some of the very early Ganzos that I've reviewed, and I've got some Ganzos today. These springs were, pretty tough. Like you have to push pretty hard. You can see my finger. If you can see the color on my finger there, it's starting to turn white at the tip to push that closed. And you can just sort of hear it. Yeah, decent. 2 sides, pocket clip. Let's check out the sizes. Typical T6 button screws and T8 pivot screw. Yeah. There's loads of videos about this, but I finally have one, and so there you go. Ozark Trail, outdoor equipment, China D2. So the badging placement's okay, and yeah, I'd like this badge to be a little bit smaller, but there you go. And a lot of people have said a lot of good things about them, especially the newer ones, for $10, $9.97. Now you can get them, what, in 3 colors? This orange, flame orange, or a black, or OD green, which is, according to the pictures on Walmart's website, Coyote Tan, but they call it OD green. Doesn't surprise me. There's some Walmart some Walmart underling naming these things. So there you go. I'm going to play with that, and I'll give you my review eventually on that. Let's do the Ganzo's last. Now this knife, since my camera keeps going into sleep mode, so maybe somebody borrowed it during when the family was here and changed some settings on me. Hopefully I didn't lose a lot of footage there. So carbon fiber laminate, it's a thin layer of carbon fiber glued onto G10. Solid carbon fiber is just too expensive. And there you go. This is a button lock. Now, Ganzo's not done very many button locks. We've got, a fancy pocket clip here, and it's a right side only pocket clip, lanyard hole right at the back. We've got their chunky liners. Those are fairly thick liners. This is not a super light knife. The pivot pin is held on this side. Can't spin because it's got that, appendage sticking out right there. And then we've got T8 over here, which is decent T8. And these are T6, and one of the T6s here is underneath the pocket clip. And then we've got these lines milled in here. We've got 4 lines milled in there. Other than that, it's flat slab. And a little bit of a flipper tab there with a little bit of texture on it, a little bit of jimping, and it opens quite well. Now it's got some fingerprints on it because, like I said, I reassembled these. And I played with this one a little bit because I've been a fan of Ganzo for a long time. This one has a little bit of an issue. It's got, yep, did you hear that? It's got some button lock stick. It's not terrible, but I don't like that. I'm going to see if that'll break in by the time I've done the review. Hopefully it will have. A lot of access up here, easy enough to get your thumb in there. So I don't know how many button locks Ganzo's done. Maybe they just need to perfect it a little bit more because nobody likes, some lock stick there. A little bit of a ramp up with fine jimping on it, but it feels decent in the hand. D2 steel, slight drop point, high, saber grind, tiniest badging that they're doing now, but they're still not doing it up here on the flats. They're still doing it on the main bevel, but at least it's not super in-your-face badging. We've got a back spacer in the handle scale color, and yeah, that's a decent pocket clip. This knife is $28.95 up to $30.95. I already said that. Ganzo knives. Ganzo knives can usually also be found on AliExpress. I can leave some links for that if you want. If you're outside of North America, that might be an easier way to get them. I think Amazon in Germany often has Ganzo knives, but we'll see. But yeah, that lock stick, button lock stick, I'm not too fond of. But everything else, alignment's quite good. The hand feels quite good. And the size, yeah, that's a little over 3 inches. Maybe not quite 3.5. We'll see. Decent. So there you go, Ganzo. And finally, the FH927. Now, the FH927, they've got some newer knives too, which I might buy in the new year. Okay, they got a warranty card on this one. Model, purchase date, seller that you fill in. 1 year warranty provided. And that's a 3D sticker. It's got text, well, it doesn't have texture on it, but it's like a bump. Kind of cool sticker. And the Ganzo pouch. Did the other one have a pouch, or did I just misplace? I think I just misplaced the pouch when I put it back in the package. And then within the pouch, you know, there was, you know, a Ganzo plastic. And this guy, we've got the wire clip again. Ganzo does a good job with the wire clip. And they've got a spacer on the other side for the clip, so the show side still looks okay. We've got a tiny little flipper tab with just one little jimp milled in there. I guess you might be able to consider that another jimp up there. And, oh, that's reminiscent of a bow drill hole. I wouldn't use it for that. It just sort of gives that look. Other than that, we've got a decent texture on it, a decent milling on it. Back spacer, lanyard pin back here, which I like when that's done. I prefer that over a hole. But we've got the typical screws again. We've got the, there we go, the T8, and, oh, that's a T6 there. Yeah, T6 here, but this pocket clip side is a T8 as well, I think. Let me see. There we go. That's a T8 as well, but on this side they're T6s. Anyhow, you will probably want to see the blade shape, but the alignment first, very good, right down the middle. Liner lock. Oh, there we go. Drop point. Yeah, the jimping goes not terribly far. It needs more aggressive jimping, especially since you don't have a guard. You know, I like to have as much protection because the odd time I might poke a knife into something and I don't want my hand to slide up over that cutting edge. But you can feel the weight of this thing, and part of that is how thick this steel is. I think that's going to be over 1/8 of an inch. If not, it's right at 1/8 of an inch thick. Tiny badging up on the flat. So between these two, okay, the badging's a little bit bigger on that side, but it's smaller here, and it's up on the flat now instead of on the main bevel. I like that. So, oh, that time the lock didn't stick. So I like that better. It's got a very utilitarian looking blade, very just a user blade. Decent thinness. I think that's just under 20 thou behind the grind there. Yeah, I would have liked some jimping on the tang of the blade here on both sides, and a little bit more aggressive. That way I'd have jimping on both sides for a little bit extra grip, but doesn't feel terrible in the hand. And I like that wire clip. I've had a number of their knives with the wire clip, and they do a good job with that. Liner lockup is, it's fully engaged, but it's got some room to go over. That detent doesn't seem, yeah. The detent's not as strong as I'd like to be. Now, years ago, I did a video on how to make the detent just by changing this lock arm pressure, make the detent a little bit stronger, as long as the detent ball and hole in the blade are in the right spot. So I might do that. I might make that adjustment during my testing of this because that feels a little light. Let me do a little test. Oh, yeah. Try that again. Yeah, that comes out a little bit too easy, and that's just from a short little twist. It's not even a full arm flick. It's just from, you know, that little space underneath the camera head here. I can make the blade come out. So that detent's a little bit too soft. Just that being able to open, that's been a reason sometimes at the Canada border for knives to be deemed illegal, because they call that a gravity knife or a centrifugal knife. So Yeah, they're not sure what centrifugal or gravity is over at the border agency. Maybe some agents do, but most of them don't seem to know what that means. But, you know, they've got somebody there who'll do that for them and test the knife. And if it does that, well, didn't want to go a few of those times, but, you know, usually it wants to go. I'm just going to tighten that, make that a little bit stronger. And go watch that video if you're interested. But other than that, kind of like it. Now, Ganzo knives are made sturdy. They're made durable. They're tough knives, and they've got loads of them. And they're a little bit heavier. This green one's heavier. The 927 is heavier than the 926, although they're they're the same size. Actually, this green one's just the tiniest bit shorter, but there you go. So check out Hyler on Amazon and wherever else you can find them. OLITANS I've never seen before, and all these other brands I've seen their stuff, and I recommend most of it. If you really are tight on a budget and you're in the United States, Ozark Trail, you know, you can find an awful lot of stuff. And this was one of their first few, maybe their first one that they did with D2 steel. They had some really cheap stainless steel before, but D2, you know, is, you know, decent, especially for $10 US. OLITANS, QSP, Ganzo, Hyler, Sencut. Thank you so much for watching my unboxing and first impressions video. You will get reviews of all of these in the upcoming months and weeks. This one might be sooner than another since this was provided by Hyler, and you know, so they deserve my attention sooner than later. And there you go. Thank you so very much for stopping by during the holiday season. And hopefully, if you see this early enough, you can get these by Christmas time. Otherwise, hopefully they'll get back in stock in places where they're not, except for this discontinued one. It's probably just not coming back. And I'm glad I finally got one before they were all gone. And remember, friends, always cut towards your chum, not your thumb.